We'll call to order the May 24th, 2023 Board of Adjustments meeting. First off, we're gonna have a roll call of members. Mr. Willie Robinson.
Present.
Mr. Brian Clybert.
Present.
Mr. Eddie Kraus.
Present.
And tonight, Mr. Devin Graham's absent, Mr. Brandon Bennett's absent, and Mr. Jake Jofferon's absent. Next, we open the floor for any public comments anybody has for or against the Board of Adjustments.
No one signed up.
No one signed up. We'll close the public comment. Next, I'll entertain a motion for the acceptance of the minutes for the April 26, 2023 meeting.
Make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Eddie Kraus,
Second.
second by Mr. Brian Clybert. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, I entertain a motion for the written decisions of the April 26, 2023 meeting.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Willie,
Second.
second by Mr. Eddie. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, first up tonight, we have, let me back up a second. I saw some of you do it, but if anybody in the audience has anything they want to say, or if they just for or against a certain agenda item we have, walk up over here and you can sign a red or green thing, and you can speak or choose not to speak, and just lets us know that you're for or against it. But first up tonight, we have zoning review ID PZ 3111.23, Lot 11 in Angel Estates for Aaron Wolf. Anybody here speak on this matter? This is yours? Okay, you step up to the podium and tell us what variance you're asking for, please.
So I'm just asking for a variance on the lot lines to put a shop up. It's strictly just gonna be for storage purposes only, so there's gonna be no plumbing, no electrical. I was unaware of the building restrictions as far as like how far back from a property line that a building needs to be set whenever we purchase this thing. So that's why I'm here today, to ask for a variance on that.
What size shed is this? We don't have any dimensions or anything?
It'll be 15 by 30.
15 by 30, okay. Any
Is the shade there?
No, sir.
Okay. So, but it have a building back there already?
No, there's no building.
No building, okay.
And you already poured the slab and ordered the building, correct?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
correct. I had ordered it, so it's a metal shop that I had ordered. Come to find out, it's not allowed in our HOA, so I'm gonna have to go through like a totally different route as far as that goes. So I'll have to restructure like how the building looks, so it's gonna have to match, what my house looks like, which is totally fine, but it was just as far as where I had it placed. I had already, like I said, I had the concrete poured down, because I had thought that it just had to go where my fence line was at. And so that's where I poured the concrete too.
Yep. It's a common mistake we have in the parish.
Yeah,
So you ordered the metal building, but you're not gonna put it up, or you're gonna do something different on the exterior finish?
correct, yes.
That's between you and the homeowners association.
Okay,
Well, that's not really something, it's not something that we control at all. We just do
Okay.
setbacks and, what materials you use is between you and them. Any other questions, comments for the gentleman?
if I could say one more thing too.
Yeah, sure,
So
absolutely.
actually, where I got the whole rule from as far as like setback lines, my realtor actually told me that it was 5 feet from the fence line. Or 5 feet from the property line is what he told me. So where, if you look at my slab that's currently poured, there's 5 feet, like a space where the shop will be. And then I had a roughly guesstimated 5 feet from the back of my property line, where I got that from was, there's a drainage ditch that goes in the back, a drainage servitude. And I know roughly where the property line is according to one of my neighbors. She said that the guy behind him has a fence up that's on his property. And from that fence line to where the slab is poured is at least 15 feet. So I knew that, like I said, I thought I was well within that 5-foot guideline that he had told me about.
Yeah, yeah. It's always better to go to the parish office and ask Mr. Lance Brock.
Yeah.
He knows way more than your realtor does.
You
But-
think you pay a realtor for their expertise,
Yeah, they
but
are.
apparently they're not an expert in their field.
No,
so-
no, they're not. It's not that, but it is his expertise. Mr. Lance, this drainage servitude, is it actually a drainage ditch or is it just a servitude?
It's a
Jim?
servitude, and I know that the parish, he tried to get it reduced, I guess you can say, and the parish said no drainage. So they want to maintain that 15-foot drainage servitude.
But he's not in that.
I don't, some of his slab may be in it, but before we could issue the building permit, he would have to make sure that that part of that slab is not in there. He'd have to get a survey or something showing that before we'd even issue the permit.
Okay, but I can't really tell from the picture. Is there a ditch there or is it just a servitude?
I think it's just a servitude. He can probably answer it better than
Yeah,
I can. I didn't
it's-
go into his backyard.
Oh, okay.
It's more like a swale.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it
it's
was
a
a swell.
swale. Okay. Swale ditch, all right.
But there is an existing drainage servitude back there.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Is your fence in the drainage servitude?
I don't know for certain.
I would think part of it would be in it, just scaling it off. Looks to be about 10 feet from the property line or so. So I would think part of it may be, it's close.
There was a shed that was put up prior to me purchasing the house. I don't know when it was put up exactly, but there was one when I bought the house. And that was about 5 feet off my fence line too. So I'm not sure if that had a permit that was issued for that thing to say, how
Yeah,
far off
probably.
it was of the property line, so we could get a real answer on that.
Okay. Any other questions for him right now? Okay, we're gonna ask you to have a seat and, open up for public comments.
Okay.
All right, we'd, open up for public comment.
I have Monica Griffith Bro. She does not wish to speak, and she's not in support. I have Frank Cortez. They do not wish to speak, and they are not in support. Stephen Melanson. They do not wish to speak, and they're not in support. Margie Pierce. They do not wish to speak, but they're not in support. And I have Deborah McClure. They do not wish to speak, and they're not in support. And Brent McClure, they do not wish to speak, and they're not in support. And that's it.
Yeah,
Somebody would speak.
yeah.
Can we ask if somebody would consider speaking?
I don't know. I guess we can ask. Would you like to come up and speak?
Oh, I would. I'd like to make a comment, but
Co-
I did
co-
say that I didn't need to speak, but I would like to comment.
Come on up to the mic. We'll give you 3 minutes to, because I think we do have some of these guys might have a question or two for you. Yeah,
My name is Brent McClure. Thanks for having me.
yeah.
I think the thing that we're the most concerned about is that we don't know exactly where that property line is. I think we're kind of eyeballing where we think the line is. And then from there, we're kind of taking some measurements. And I think he thinks that he's within or wants that variance of those few extra feet. But without a survey, you're just looking at a ditch or a low-lying area, thinking, well, the gentleman who owns the property behind our subdivision, he has a chain link fence. So you look at his fence and you think, well, the property line should be about right here, but there's no marker. There's just nothing to go on. So we really was thinking that he might have had it surveyed so that when we got here tonight, we knew that he was within whatever he was asking for. And I think that's what we're just asking for, is that we need to know where the line's at. And then from there, hopefully you guys can make a decision on whether or not he can be granted his variance. But without that, it's just, we're just eyeballing it.
Well, if we grant him a variance, he can't go outside that variance. Well, if we grant him 5 feet, he can't go 6 feet, no matter what. So, you know, it's, when we make our decision, that'll be it. That would be up to him to determine whether he's 5 feet or 6 feet by going through the building permit process and getting a survey, which you're supposed to do from the beginning, but sometimes people don't know that, and so that would be something that eventually he'll have to pay for a little survey and get his property line marked out, yeah.
We were hoping that tonight that information would have been provided, and that you guys, in making that decision, would have that survey in front of you so that you could say, okay, we're gonna go ahead and grant him that based on what the survey says.
Yes, sir.
Here's our evidence that the line starts here and stops here. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, you had a question?
I just wanted to ask if he was on the board for the HOA
yeah,
or,
that's fine.
or, you know, where he's coming from asking this, you know, I mean, because
Yeah.
whatever we do, the building he builds has to be built in accordance with the restrictions of the HOA. It's not our,
Ain't got nothing to do with us.
right.
Yeah,
And regardless if he gets a survey or not, upon approval, the approval's based on where the actual property line is, the variance.
yeah.
So that wouldn't, you know, it's not an imaginary line. It comes from the, you know, property markers.
You can come on back up. No, come on back up. They might have some more questions for you. You get a rebuttal.
Yeah, okay, so I just wanted to clarify with them more so. This is strictly to state that I'm allowed, okay, so according to Ascension Parish, now that I know, you can't put any structure 20 feet to your back property line, correct?
Right.
So all this that I'm asking for today, for the people in the audience, is just to move that 20-foot line to a 15-foot line, not to like say I'm trying to bend anything here. It came across like I was trying to do something shady, I guess. Whereas all I'm asking for today is just to move that 20-foot setback line to 15 feet. And the reason I'm asking that is due to kind of maximize the concrete that I have already poured down, if some of it is within that 15 feet, if I do get that today.
Okay. Any other questions? Comments? Motions? I'm sorry.
I do have a question.
Do we switch or?
Okay. We're gonna allow it because I didn't close the public comment, so I have to allow it, I guess.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry, Monica
That's-
Bro,
Yeah,
and I said I didn't want to speak, but the only concern I have is if it's going to affect drainage. I'm 2 houses down, and I don't know how long the concrete slab's been there and what effect it's going to have on drainage, because it is kind of a lower lying area, and right behind the wooden fence that we have, that area stays wet. And so if by him putting a slab into the drainage area is going to cause a backup, and I don't know the answer to that, but that's my only concern.
yes, ma'am.
Thank
I
you.
don't have an answer to that, but,
Steve?
yes.
Mr. Chairman? If there's anything within that drainage servitude, he's gonna have to take it out.
Right,
So if it is in there, he's gonna have to get a survey and he's gonna have to submit it to our office for a building permit. If anything's within that, he's gonna have to cut it out. So he's got to remove it.
that help your question any? Okay,
Question.
hold on.
Is there any way we could table it until he gets the
I don't think so.
survey? No.
You can request legal, but I mean, there's nothing holding him to its time frame or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
He would have to ask for it.
Yeah, he
He
would.
would have to ask to get a table.
Okay.
I don't know what difference it makes if he's in, like Lance said, if it's in the servitude,
You
he's
gotta
gotta take it out,
Okay.
you know?
I know that's what they was.
If we
worried about.
allow him a variance and he's beyond that variance, he's
Gonna have
gotta
to
take
take
it
it
out. Any other public comment, Mr. Maker?
No, that's all.
Okay, we'll close the public comment. All right. Questions, comments, motion? make a motion. It's kind of a little tough one, but my opinion is, if y'all want it, it's not in the drainage servitude, and it's only 5 foot, and it is normally what we allow in our variances that we do, as long as it's not blocking any drainage, not in drainage servitude.
Utilities.
You know, I have a decent feeling, being that if there is anything already done in the drainage servitude, that it will be required to be removed, right? And as far as, you know, any neighbors have concerns about the aesthetics or anything, you know, that's up to the HOA. That's not something that we choose. So I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve is written by Mr. Bryan.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Eddie. All in favor? Variance granted. All right, next up, we have zoning review ID PZ 3136.23 for Esther S. Stevens. Anybody here to represent? Go on, step up to the mic and tell us what you're asking for.
Reverend Harry Joseph, and I'm asking that we get a variance down Stud Land where we're gonna put a house on that property, and Ascension Parish rule is 10 feet from the road, and it being a house, we're asking for a variance at least to let it be at least 4 feet from the road.
Oh, I got the wrong one.
And they have an addition house there that sits in the front of this house. And I'm not sure, because I never measured, where it sits at it like 3 to 2.5 foot from the road. And I would have put the other house that I'm putting behind that house, even with that house, but I still would go 4 feet, because that'll allow me, you know, wide enough to do what I have to do.
So this is a second house being put on this lot?
Yeah. They had a house on that lot, but the house was burnt down.
Okay. I think I'm seeing remnants of that in the picture. Looks like a, so you putting it basically where the burnt house was?
Yeah.
Same spot?
Well, they're gonna be like 4 feet from the road where the other one was too.
Chairman, yes, approximately where the old house was.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
So all said and done, it's only gonna be one residence on this lot, correct?
correct, yeah, well, there's another one on there.
They got another house in front
Yeah,
of
when you
that
look
one.
at it, it's been cut out, but it's, yeah, one residence on that house. And as you can tell, the lot is so narrow
That's all I was gonna
that
ask you,
even
have
if
more
you,
width,
I would
width
think
and depth.
the actual setbacks overlap each other. The rear goes into the front goes into the
Yeah,
rear.
the one in the front, I had to put the other one that's coming right even with that one.
Yeah. Have more width and depth.
All right. Any public comment?
No one signed up.
All right, close public comment. Questions, motions?
I make a motion to approve. Looking at this tract of land, he have more width and depth. So that's a hardship.
Yep. It's an odd shaped piece of land.
Yeah.
Got a motion to approve the variance by Mr. Willie. Second by Mr. Eddie, all in favor?
Aye.
Variance is granted.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir. Okay, next up, any old business?
No old business.
No old business? Any new business? No new business, Lance? Okay, next I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned by Mr. Bryan, second by Mr. Willie, all in favor?
Aye.
Adjourn.